to protect the wicket and not let themselves get hit. In fact, as we'll see in a little bit, there are actually situations where a batter can be called out if they allow themselves to be hit with the ball. There is the equivalent of a ball in cricket. It's called a wide. And if the umpire has determined that the bowler has bowled the ball wide, 1 run is awarded to the batting team. There's also something in cricket called a no ball, which is when the umpire has determined that the ball has been delivered illegally. And there's a couple dozen different reasons why an umpire might call a no ball. If the umpire calls a no ball, just like a wide, 1 run is awarded to the batting team. In cricket, the batters stay on the field until they are out. So they continue to bat and score runs until they are put out. This means that, just like in baseball, a batter can be out with 1 single swing of the bat, or they can stay at bat, I guess forever. But it's common for a batter to score between like 20 and 50 runs in an at-bat, and it's not unheard of for a batter to hit 100. This is called a century, and it's very fun.
The boundary.
Along the perimeter of the cricket field is the boundary. This can be a rope or a little cushion type thing, or it could be a short fence or a wall. When a ball is put in play and it reaches or goes past the boundary, that is called a boundary. A ball that rolls and hits or passes the boundary or bounces over the boundary like a ground rule double is worth 4 runs for the batting team. A ball that is hit over the boundary, so basically like a home run, is worth 6 runs for the batting team.
Outs.
There are several ways that a batter or runner can get put out in cricket, and they boil down to 2 basic categories. A batter can be caught out, which is just like baseball. They hit a ball in the air. The bails off the stumps of the wicket when you are in a position where that could put you out. There's a few different ways this could happen. You could be run out. This is where you are trying to score a run, but they knock the ball into the wicket before you reach the crease that defines the place where you are safe. By the way, the bat is part of your body when determining whether or not you are safe. You can be bowled out, and these are very exciting. This is where the bowler sends the ball to you, and the ball bounces past you and knocks the bails off the stumps. A batter can also be put out by the wicketkeeper if the batter moves past this line here called the popping crease, and the wicketkeeper gains possession of the ball and knocks the bails off the stumps. This is called being stumped out. A batter can also be called out if they allow the ball to hit them and the umpire determines that the ball would have knocked the bails off the stumps if the batter had not interfered with their body. This is called a leg before wicket. So those are the most common ways that you will see a batter or runner get put out by the fielding team. There are several other much less common ways for a batter to get out, and we will not be getting into them here. One major difference between baseball and cricket is in cricket, if the fielding team thinks they have gotten a batter or runner out, they first have to appeal to the umpire who will confirm whether or not the batter or runner is out. So if a batter or runner would be out, but no one on the fielding team notices it, then play just continues, and the umpire will not just call them out. When a player is put out, the bowling and fielding team is said to have taken the wicket, and the batting and running team is said to have lost. Each series of 6 pitches or deliveries, which are called balls, is called an over. Each over has only one bowler, and each bowler only bowls one over at a time. So after a bowler has delivered 6 balls, they take a position in the field, and another player comes in to be the bowler for the next over. A bowler can field for an over and then come back to bowl again, but a bowler may not bowl 2 consecutive overs. If you're comparing this all to baseball, overs are similar to individual at-bats in terms of the flow of the game, right? It's like one series of deliveries that everyone's watching, and then there's a brief pause while a new player comes on, and then there's a next set of deliveries that everyone's watching. The difference, of course, is that it's the bowlers, the pitchers that are coming in and out, and not the batters.
Formats.
Beyond everything that has been explained so far, the majority of the details of the game that you watch will depend on the format of cricket that you're watching. There are two basic formats of the game of cricket. There's first class cricket and there's limited overs cricket. First class cricket is what a lot of people think of when they think of cricket. We're talking about the games that go on for several days. Everyone is wearing white. Maybe the Queen shows up. And first class cricket is most associated with the 5-day-long test matches that international teams play against one another. They're scheduled for 5 days, but they might be completed before that. At the beginning of the first day, there's a coin toss to determine which team goes first, and then the sides alternate going through their entire batting order. This happens twice, so each team goes through its batting order twice for a total of 4 innings. Unless the team that goes second scores more runs than the team that went first, in which case they don't have to actually finish their entire innings. They just win the game. That was very simplified. The rules governing test matches could be their own 15-minute video. The other format of cricket is limited overs cricket, where each team is limited to a certain number of overs, and each innings comes to an end when the specified number of overs has been reached or when all of the batters are out, whichever comes first. There are several types of limited overs cricket, but there are two that you are most likely to see. The first of these are the one-day internationals, or ODI. These are played between national teams, and each team has 50 overs. And then there's also T20 cricket, which is 20-20 cricket, where both teams get only 20 overs. This style of cricket was invented to be more exciting and more fast-paced, and to put the length of an individual match around the same as other common sporting events around the world. An easy way to know whether you're watching a test match or a limited overs match is whether the teams are wearing white or colors. And if you are watching a professional match, you're almost definitely watching a T20 match.
Scorekeeping.
All right, pay attention, because this is maybe the most confusing part of all of this, the scorekeeping. So at the bottom of the screen, you'll see it says India, and then it says 118 for 5. This does not mean that the score is 118 runs to 5 runs. No, this means that India has scored 118 runs for 5 wickets, which means that 5 of their batters have been put out. Then it says first innings, so this is the first innings of this match. Then it says England 287. So that's how many runs England scored in their innings. And since this is a test match, both 0 wickets so far and has allowed 24 runs. And then the 15 o'clock over there, that's just the time of the day. It's 3 p.m. Now, for a limited overs match, there's a little bit more information that you need to know. So here you go. Down at the bottom, it says England. This is another game between England and India. It's a women's game. So it says England 103 for 4. So that means that they've scored 103 runs for 4 wickets. P2, don't worry about what that means yet. Then it says 24.3 of 50. That means that we are 24 overs and 3 deliveries into this innings. And then the 50 means that this innings will have at most 50 overs, right? Because this is a one-day international. Then it says target 222. This means that India went first and scored 222 runs. So that's how many runs England has to score.
If you know the B-52s, you probably know them from one of 2 songs. The surreal sea life themed post-punk of Rock Lobster from 1978, or the raucous permanent karaoke staple Love Shack a decade later. Emerging during the apex of New York punk, the B-52s had the look of a retro future that never came, sky-high beehive wigs, and primary colour polyester. And they sounded as if Dick Dale, the Shangri-Las, and Edward Lear formed a band after getting really into Yoko Ono. They gave off an air of novelty, billed themselves as the ultimate party band, and yet their influence on the realm of alternative rock is staggering. Kitsch and queer icons in equal measure. This is why the B-52s are more important than you think. The B-52s were 5 underpaid misfits who met in Athens, Georgia in the mid-70s, sharing a desire to look outrageous and dance. Formerly from New Jersey, Kate Pearson had come to Athens with her husband, an Englishman she had met while travelling Europe, and lived on a farm tending goats and working a paste-up job at a local paper for a few years before getting divorced. Another New Jersey expat, Fred Snyder, had dropped out of a forestry degree and was now a waiter at a vegetarian restaurant. Cindy Wilson was a waitress at a whirly-hued luncheonette, located inside a department store. Her brother, Ricky Wilson, and his friend, Keith Strickland, hauled bags at the bus station. After a year or so of hanging out, dancing to James Brown, and crashing house parties, one night they jointly splurged on a flaming volcano, a gigantic, particularly potent rum cocktail they found on the menu of a Chinese restaurant. After kicking out time spirited by too much alcohol, the five ended up jamming at a friend's house, with the idea dawning on them that they should form a band. Having three front people, straight away they stood out. The snarled, deadpan talk singing of Snyder, the celestial harmonies of Kate Pearson, and the ricocheting sass and shrieks of Cindy Wilson. This then was powered by Strickland on drums and Ricky on guitar. Musically, as a group, they were listening to and drawing from dance music, James Brown, and Motown. Won't make you dance. But also more eclectic fare. At the time, Athens was not a cultural hub. It was a farmer's town that happened to have a college. Their first show on Valentine's Day 1977 was at a friend's house party. We came out of a very tiny community of artists, but there wasn't a music scene at all. It was a very liberal group of people we were friendly with, gay and straight. Nightlife just entailed someone throwing a party and there being a keg out on the front porch. Everyone dressed up crazy, and we all listened to R&B, since that was the best music for dancing. Our initial inspiration for the band was just to create something for our friends, and as a way to entertain ourselves. We had no money, and a lot of free time. Their look too was immediately striking. Lacking funds, the band would raid second-hand stores for clothes, acquiring retro fashions that style forgot, anything to make each other laugh. For the men, it was clashing polyester and seersucker suits. For the women, 60s day-glow miniskirts. Additionally, the women accumulated a collection of vintage hairpieces, including towering beehive wigs that they wore on stage, and lent the band its name. The B-52 being southern slang for the hairstyle, due to its similarity to its namesake bomber's nose cone. It was cheap and available, not glamorous. We would pile wigs on our heads, and put a high heel on top. We were very influenced by Fellini. It was also recycling American pop culture, taking it to ridiculous extremes. Not that we sat down and philosophized about it. We just grabbed wigs and stuck them on our heads. By the end of 1977, they were looking for shows outside Georgia. In New York, bands like Television, Ramones, Blondie, and Talking Heads were making similarly cool, upcycled versions of rock and roll.